I'm going to share my screen for you guys.
There we go. Looking good, Coach Kelly.
All right.
Internet's looking fast tonight.
Fast, baby. So, guys, you got a really good matchup here. Obviously, any friendly face-off guys, you guys all know Trevor Baptiste. You guys should probably know who Joe Nardella is at this point. Two very solid players, two guys that actually play in the NLL as well. So I think they have a really unique and different approach. As you can see, they're both big guys. They're not very tall, but they're hefty. They love to use their body, and you'll see how they kind of use that as this unravels. But I really want you to keep an eye on the wing play as well. So if you're a wing guy, obviously you want to watch that, and we're going to talk through, positioning. But also in this, I want the wing guys to keep an eye on the face-off guys. So I want you to watch their heads and their sticks, and we're going to look to see if we can identify which player has the ball and where we think he's going to go with it. So that's what I want you guys to focus on. Face-off guys, I want you to watch their hands. I want you to watch their exits. I want you to watch their awareness of the wing guys. And then a big thing that both of these guys do is that they get their head in tight over the ball, and they build that column from the head of their stick up to their physical head. So these guys do a really good job trying to lock their eyes right over top of that ball, and that's where they have a lot of success. So I'm just going to let it rip here, and we'll stop it and talk through it. Coach, you got anything you see? Just tell me to stop.
Two guys percentage-wise in the PLL, and here we go. On a wet
So this is a really good one right here, guys, as this kind of unfolds, right? Both guys are hammering down the ball. No one really has it, all right? So a couple things to talk about. As this is going, somebody raise your hand or unlock and tell us what the wing strategies are of both teams, because both wing guys here and over here on both teams are in the exact same setup. So somebody let us know. Somebody unlock and talk to us here.
The LSM is following the bottom hand of the opposite team's face-off guy.
Over here, right? Or on both of them?
Right.
Both of them, right? So I guess it's Tulit here. He's the long pole. He's following the butt end here of Baptiste, and Hartzell is over here. He's following the butt end of Nardella. I'm looking for even a deeper answer than that, guys. For the Atlas, what is their approach here from the wings? And the Whip Snakes, what is their approach here from the wings? Coach Bice, you want to help them out?
Yeah, if I can give you what you're looking for. It looks like if you can see Hartzell over here, he is in straight hunt mode, and it looks like who's on that wing with
That's
Hartzell?
Understein.
Understein. They're basically free, looking to make a play on the ball. Now, if you look, Train, who's the whip snake that's with Hartzell?
The short stick there, I'm not sure who they got on that wing. Might be Snyder.
Okay, well, if you look – they got double pull, Train.
Oh, double pull, okay.
So they got double pull, and I actually like what the pull is doing to Hartzell there, where he's boxing him in. So this is something that, for me, and I don't know if this is what you're looking for, Coach Kelly, but something I think that guys don't do a very good job of. So if you see both of these guys are tied up here, you want to pause it there, Coach Kelly? Yeah. And if you look you can see Understein here, number 13 for the Atlas on the left side of your screen. And one of the things you notice, there's no contact there with his wing, right? And for me, I'm a guy who took a lot of wings for Coach Kelly, but at the end of the day, a lot of times I didn't know where the ball was going. And so when you look at this and you see guys that are tied up, for me, what I like to do rather than box a guy out is box a guy in. And so if you look at this wing here with Hartzell actually has a guy on his back, and I would prefer to do that and drive the wing player, okay, almost into on top of that scrum. So when the ball comes out, you have more space to pick it up. And the other thing is Coach Kelly and we played together a long time, where he would actually tell me, he had a couple calls for me to know when he had the ball, and then I could react and go to where he was going to pull it and have good leverage. I don't know if that's what you're looking for, Coach Kelly, or you wanted something else.
No, that's great. So, if you look at it, there's two different types of strategy, right? And you harped on it. Both guys from the Atlas are on the inside. So they're taking an inside approach, and they're the guys that are closest to the face-off guys. Both guys on the Whip Snakes are on a box-in approach. So they're on the outside, and they're sealing both of their guys in. So the nice thing is that both guys on both wings are doing the same thing and doing that same approach. What that tells me is that Nardella is looking to muck this up and tie the ball up, and the Whip Snakes want to be in position to get anything that squirts out nice and deep or any scrums. And the Atlas, because Baptiste likes to work to himself, they're trying to box out to not allow the poles to get in there and whack on Baptiste to allow him to work to himself. So I want you guys to keep an eye on that during the game. I also want you to keep an eye on, it was a great point, Understein over here, number 13, about how he doesn't make contact right here. And sometimes he gets a little lazy when there's a tie-ups, and it comes back to hurt him, in certain sets here. So right here, you can start to see that Baptiste's eyes, he's starting to look up a little bit. That tells me that he has the ball. Okay, so let's watch this and see what happens. All right, so obviously I'm going to back it up a little bit. He had it there for a quick second. All right, watch him. He's going to look up, and he's going to go for the pole. He sees he has space in front, but he just kind of leaves it behind. So Nardella did a good job driving him off, but I want you guys to watch this right here. Okay, he looks to his left. He sees that Hartzell has this man boxed out. His window of opportunity is basically right where this ref is. So if you look, he identifies that he has space, eyes up, sets his feet, and goes to pull, but his body left before his hands. So big no-no, you guys that work with me all the time, right? I always tell you, hands got to leave first, left it behind. Nardella does a good job of hunting the ball. And again, having both Atlas guys inside, that allows them to be able to pursue and be able to try to make a play on this ball, which Understein actually does. Turns it into a little scrum right here, knocks it out of his stick, and then just obviously a great GB there, right? So pretty interesting. Lot of good stuff there for the opening face-off of the game. So
hey, Coach Kelly, can I add one thing just for the kids to think about as we move forward? So you heard Coach Kelly talk about these teams both have a strategy, and this is something that's put together prior to the start of the game based on your strengths and your opponent. And it's so critical that, as you face off guys, I see like Simon, you're on here, but that you're talking to your wings and you're telling them, what you want them to do. Coach Kelly would we'd have a plan, when we came into every game, but as the game progressed, training, Coach Kelly would say, hey, Greg, here's what I need you to do on this next wing, or here's where I want you to line up based on how it's going. But there's a constant communication and dialogue happening between, the face-off men and the wings. And at the same time, Coach Kelly led most of that conversation because he's obviously, that's his job and he was dialed in there. But a lot of times if I said, hey, Train, here's what I'm seeing and here's what you got, and let him know what I'm seeing is the wings too, because he's tied up, once that whistle blows and his head's down.
Yeah, that's a great point, Coach. It's very helpful to communicate, right, on both sides. And you guys hear us say that no matter what position you play, you got to talk to each other. And, when you're off on the sideline, if you're a wing guy that sees something, right, absolutely talk to that guy. If you're a guy that has any sort of sense when it comes to facing off, I used to always grab a guy on my team when I played pro that was a guy who faced off either in high school or college or took draws during college, and they knew what was happening, and I would have them look for specific things during the face-off and report back to me every time that I came off, just so I had feedback in the moment so I could start building my game plan. And your plan should be to get stronger as that game goes on, right? Obviously you want to start out strong, but that was always my game plan. And my goal was to finish the game stronger than I started. And that told me that I was going to have a better plan and a better approach as a unit throughout the course of the game. So moving on here. I think Nardella actually takes his next one to the rack.
Hopkins contingent here on Atlas. That's the first goal against Whip Snakes, and a penalty coming here as Nardella takes it.
So a lot of things happening here in a short little window, guys. So I want you to watch this, right? So he does a good job. He just kind of rips it out, stays with it. Baptiste gets a little out of position here. Obviously, a very good ground ball, handles the pressure well. This is one of those moments right here. Watch, Understein, he's just going to get kind of caught flat-footed. He's not with this man, and he's not pursuing the ball. I don't really understand what he's doing here. And Hartzell, what he needs to do on this loose ball is he needs to shift back down into this area, right? Nobody can give up this fast break. So somebody has to teeter-totter. I call it teeter-totter, like the old school playground thing where you have to have balance. So if one guy goes one way, so I mean if Understein steps this way, Hartzell needs to replace here. And I know it's kind of a broken play, but both guys, look at this, both guys are standing flat-footed And I think this is Earhart. Look at him. He's already anticipating from the whip snakes. You can see his shoe. He's anticipating, and he's already up the field, right? So they have to make a decision. Hartzell goes with him. Nardella goes down the middle, and just a very nice shot. More importantly, guys, just a great job right there. He knows this check is coming. Tucking the stick, cradling across his face, waits patiently, check goes right there, brings it up, and puts it home. So just a nice little play there by Nardella.
Yeah, hey, Coach, the only thing I want to add, you can just continue to let this play. You don't need to go back, is that situational awareness and that game awareness of making sure, you're not going to give up, specifically Hartzell there, of rotating back and taking away that fast break, especially at this point at the game. A 1-0, your offense is probably still trying to find their rhythm. It's early in the game. You don't want to give up any easy goals like they just did there.
Yep.
He beats Baptiste. He draws a flag, and then he finishes it. Nardella's first goal.
So we talked about this earlier. So just to reiterate, they even wrote in here the column. So you guys hear me say they want to build that pillar, build that column. So what that means is right here, this is a perfect column. So if he were to put his stick head flat, his head is straight over the top. Nardella is almost there, straight over the top. So I want you to watch when they engage how they try to drive in right here, okay? So no one has the ball, but you're going to watch both guys try to stay low and drive their head in and drive the other guy out. There's a couple things that looks like a little illegal right here. Nardella, technically, he can't be driving his hand into Baptiste's stick. At the same time, look at Baptiste's head. He's basically driving it down onto the head of his stick, right? I think this should have actually been whistled right there. He's driving it into Nardella's arm, and then Nardella's going to drive his head back to the middle. So this actually was an illegal face-off by both guys. Could have been flagged, but nifty little finish right here. I want you guys watching Nardella's stick for you face-off guys, right? Here, again, illegal. He's using his hand, but he's folding Baptiste's stick back. If you can use your shaft and get this rejam right here, he's going to drive him back and watch this little pull right there, right? Pretty crafty little play. But goes back to strategy. Guess who's waiting there? So when he pulls this, remember, Atlas guys are inside, right? So Joel Tinney is going to be posted up, just like Caleb mentioned before. He's right on Nardella's butt end. So when he pulls this, this is one of the perks of being on the inside, right? He's standing 2 feet, 3 feet back. When that ball squirts out, boom, right into Tinney's stick, and he's off to the races here.
And Anthony, that's where, as a wing player, if you're the outside player, so the whip snake there, you have to drive that offensive player, or Tinney in this case, whoever your opponent is, almost on top. For me, I would drive him almost on top of the face-off guys, because when that ball does squirt off, if it is shallow, you want that guy so close to that ball that he is not able to pick it up.
Absolutely. But, you want to get that lift. There's no reason why he wasn't just, stick to hands or getting a hard lift on his backside. And what I teach you guys is I love to have guys seal in.
Yes.
And I always teach to take two hands and just punch that guy in the hip as hard as you can, collapse him, and then go and pursue that ball. You hope it squirts by him. But if he hits a free one like this, right, that's just unacceptable. I think that's lazy wing play there by the whip snakes.
Hey, Coach Kelly, one thing can you hit on there? You talked about both of those face-off guys with some, I don't want to say illegal moves because they weren't called, but, some jamming the head over the ball. And as a face-off specialist, if the refs aren't called, because I think a lot of the times for me as a coach, I talk to our face-off guys and they say, oh, hey, coach, he's going early, or he's getting away with this move or that move or whatever it is, it's illegal. What are you thinking as a player, if maybe one of the guys continues to jam his head over the ball, he's not getting called for it, you've gone to the official, what do you do?
Yeah, that's one of those tough ones. I mean, ultimately, you're just trying to match that, and it's kind of a race to see who can get their head in there first. So, it's one of those things I always tell guys, get in there, match what they're doing. Obviously, you're not looking to do anything illegal, but, you're trying to drive your head in and build that column, get it over the top. And at that point, I think it's kind of in the ref's court. I mean, you guys all know the difference between right and wrong and what the rules are there, and, never teach you guys to do anything dirty. But to take that advantage of being able to drive your head in there, I think there's nothing wrong with that at that point.
just tries to do that for 4 quarters.
Nice start in the first goal for him, guys.
Randy Chantel back.
A really good play here by Baptiste. Again, kind of knowing the moment, right? They gave up a couple quick goals there. You look at the score, it's 3-1. Very good decision here by Baptiste, right? So this is, you guys will hear me say all the time, manage the game, manage the game, manage the game, manage the moment, right? So this is one of those things where he's managing this moment. He won this faceoff. If you look, right, there's 3 guys around him, nowhere to go. He understands that once this wing collapses to him, he has an outlet right behind him, right? So rather than take a bad shot, he's done his job here. He's earned this ball, right? He realizes that he's got pressure right here. He can sense this wing coming. No reason to press this and take the shot. Get it to the open man. You got a full shot clock right now, 50 seconds. Let your offense go to work, right? So I think that's just a really good, smart play. Again, Hartzell, smart play there pulling it out.
Hey, Coach Kelly, and for Hartzell and all you wing players, right, you've got your Baptiste is running full speed. He's 5-10 yards ahead of Hartzell there. I guarantee you Kyle Hartzell is opening his mouth and demanding that ball,
Absolutely.
right? Hey, one more, I got your help. If you need it. Communicating with Baptiste to let him know that, hey, I can just flip it back and I got an outlet there.
Good point, Coach. I think the next one here, this is just a real simple defensive exit by Baptiste.
The wheels started to come off in the 4th quarter. He
Does a great job boxing out right here. Okay, wing guys do a good job giving him space. This is another opportunity. Hartzell recognizes, box out this wing guy so he can't make a play. Allows Baptiste to get to open space and find the open man. Again, this is a really smart play by Baptiste. It seems like a simple thing maybe for you wing guys. But face-off guys, right, I tell you guys all the time, we don't want to be robots, right? This last face-off he took, what did he do? He went on a fast break, almost scored a goal. Look over here on this far sideline. You don't see a wing guy in sight. You know what that tells me? That the Whip Snakes have shifted all the way down here to cut off this fast break. So really smart by Baptiste to use what he has and work to this open space back here, right? Very heady play on his part. So he's going to hammer this clamp hard, rotate away from pressure. Look at that, all that space he has to work with. Nardella does a really good job staying with him. But Baptiste just outworks him because he was able to put the ball where he wanted to. So just a really good job there. That was just kind of sloppy. We're just going to blow by that. All right, so here's one for you guys. This is a good one. We got a poll in here. All right, so we don't see this all that often. So obviously doesn't look very comfortable out there. I think that's Earhart. You know, he's got a really high stance. Baptiste beats him clean to the clamp right here. But as you can see, Earhart, he's just driving in, right? He's trying to disrupt as much as he can. He's trying to engage. See what happens. All right, he's doing a pretty good job of matching. So if you're this pole or if you're a shorty out there, you want to basically get his head right into your chest or into your stomach, basically, if you're able to. And you want to move with him and basically have your stomach, basically your belly button should be basically touching his helmet. And you're going to move with him either way that he goes, and you're going to try to basically stay with him. And again, he's doing a pretty good job of moving with him, and he's also trying to disrupt with his stick right here. All right. But Baptiste obviously wins that ball to what was really a pretty great play, and his wing guy misses it. So I want you to see what he set up here. Pretty nifty. So he knows this is probably something they talked about. Hey, I'm going to see a pole today. I know I'm going to see a pole. That means there's a shorty on the wing over here. I want you to take off if you see me rotate, right? It's that type of communication. So instead of boxing out, you're going to notice the Atlas player is actually going to swing all the way around the outside. Baptiste goes to a defensive draw, but he over-rotates here all the way around. Then he goes to between the legs, fires it out. We can't really see what's happening over here, but it looks like he hit Understein in stride, which would have been a fast break. Looks like Understein just kind of misses his ball and bobbles it. And again,
hey, Coach Kelly, one of the things I want to add here is that if you send a pole out to take the face off, 9 out of 10 times that pole is just trying to cut off the fast break and make that face-off man handle the ball. And if you are on a wing, your job, 9 out of 10 times, and maybe that wasn't the case here, but 9 out of 10 times, your job as a wing player in that scenario when you send a pole out from your team is to make sure that your wing player does not pick up the ball. So in this case here, for the Whip Snakes, that player there should have been all over Unterstein and not given him a free ground ball that he didn't pick up. But that was a free ground ball that he should have picked up. He should have been under pressure, and that should have been a 50-50 scrum from the get-go.
Yep. And as you can see here, great job by the Whip Snakes just staying after it, right? The play's never over. So stays after it, and then boom, they actually come up with a win that they shouldn't have had right there. So just good job staying with it. I like this one. It's a good view of the face-off. For you poles and wing guys, I want you to watch this little subtle move right there. Okay, clearly Nardella missed this ball. You guys see that? So his hand is basically over top and passing it. Baptiste is coming down perfect on top of this. So this is something that you guys need to start watching when you're on wings to see which player has the head of his stick over top of that ball. And when you see the other team face-off guy with his head over top, you got to be ready to react, right? So we want one guy posting up on his butt end and one guy posting up on basically the toe of his stick on the opposite side. And you want to balance that where you can make a play and try to get to that ball and force him to go to places he doesn't want to go to. So right there, right, he clearly has it. So this is where you guys need to stay with him, and you got to rotate and go see how their wings do. So he went for a defensive exit, we call this. He rotates backwards. He secures the ball. Kind of got lucky there. They might have even called him because the ball didn't technically come out. He kind of trips right here. He's going for a defensive exit right there. See, the ball doesn't fall out. So they should have actually called this. He kind of gets a reclamp on it, and then he goes for a back door. So he pivots and backdoors it. So pretty good job. I think that's what they called, actually. That's exactly what they called. So they called the ball for being stuck. But I want you to watch the reaction here of the Whip Snakes. Whistle blows right here, right? You can see the ref. He put it in. Whistle blows. Earhart knows what happened there. He's like, this is our ball. He's going for it. Nardella also recognizes it's going to be their ball, and he takes off upfield, right? So he does a really good job right here. He sees it. Procedure, right? You see the ref down here. He does a procedure. Nardella reacts, and he's going to take off, and he's going to fly up the field right here. Right? So understanding the situation, making a heady play, being whistle ready, and reacting the moment that whistle blows leads to an incredible goal for these guys to go up 7-3 at a really important moment in this game. Look at this, right at the end of the first quarter. Look at that. 2 seconds left, guys. You see that? Difference of a game are moments like that. So huge play that was done up there in that moment. So, Coach, you got anything you want to add there?
No, that was well done, Coach Kelly.
Hop on for a quick second.
Yeah, go ahead, Nick. Yep.
Hey, no, so just listening to, what Coach Kelly and Coach Greg have been talking about, from a wing standpoint, just to kind of help summarize, just a couple of things that you guys can do consistently every time. And some of it may seem real simple, but it's been making me really effective the last couple of years in understanding wing play. First thing is obviously making sure you communicate with your face-off guy, making sure you know what his strengths are versus what the other team's guys' strengths are, and that happens as you guys get older and start playing, in more mature settings. You can understand that concept better. Second thing is making sure as soon as that whistle blows, you should be sprinting for 2 seconds right off the bat. As soon as that whistle blows, your job is to get a jump and sprint in for 2 seconds and try and get in front of that guy. And then lastly, as the game progresses, more and more rules are being made for face-offs to not have, as long tie-ups as we saw. Those are really good examples. But then when you do have those tie-ups, I can't emphasize enough how important it is to get that contact on that guy, because I've been able to get so many ground balls, not because I was necessarily faster than other guys, but because I got good position, I had contact, and as soon as the ball, went a certain way, I was able to either get my guy, right, a little bump or a check to have the ball go past him to then scoop that ball up. And I just want to make sure I emphasize that point that Coach Greg brought up about just making sure you know where you are, pinning guys in the right way, but you want to be in contact, almost leaning on that guy, so then you can steer his body where you want to go it when that ball does come out. And just realize how important faceoffs are. If you never have to – the best defense is not playing defense. So if you win all the faceoffs and never have to play defense, then your team is guaranteed to win the game because it's going to be a huge momentum swing. So really make sure if you're a faceoff guy, I played a couple of games with Coach Kelly. Like, if the wings weren't getting the job done, like, he let us know about it. And, those stats, right? Those are what you guys are judged by. So, like, make sure you're speaking up to those wing guys of, like, hey, like, I'm doing my job, putting the ball in spots. Like, you guys need to do your job, of keeping guys off of me or making sure we fight a little bit harder for these 50-50 ground balls.
That's great stuff, Nick. Bice, you got anything you want to add in there?
No. You reiterated some of the things we said earlier, Nick, and that communication piece is big. And I guess I will add one thing. When we saw that missed ground ball from Unterstein there is, make sure you guys practice picking up ground balls all the time. And I know we do it in practice. You guys doing line drills and whatever drills, but on your own at home, you guys practice shooting, you get on the wall. Coach Kelly, I know when he was younger in his backyard practicing, he was, would dodge trees and run and pick up ground balls. And obviously, it sounds cheesy, but, it served him very well. And, for you guys, make sure this is something that you're continually practicing is picking up ground balls because, ground balls win games, and there's a reason that coaches say that.
Yeah, actually, guys, I came up with a little reaction ground ball drill that we're going to be putting some video out with we got a bunch of stuff that's coming up. We got some new content that we're going to be rolling out. So be on the lookout for that, guys. We're going to be doing, at least one video clip a week. On social media, we're trying to give you guys stuff that you can work on your own to get better. And we'll try to mix in some different stuff for wing play. And like Coach said, ground balls are probably the most under-practiced thing from obviously it happened during the course of the game, but it's probably the most under-practiced thing for you guys just to go out and work on picking up ground balls. And you face-off guys, a lot of times I have you pick up ground balls one-handed, left-handed, one-handed, halfway up your stick one-handed, all those things, because in those moments, right, you saw that really important ground ball that Nardella had one-handed on one knee off the ground, and he was able to get away from pressure and go down and score a goal, right? You better believe that he's practiced that over and over and over again, scooping up ground balls from his stance, being in a knee and picking up a ground ball. And those are the things that separate you from being a good player or an average player to being a great player, is going above and beyond and doing those things, because every one of those things, right, it's all those one goal games, right, that one face-off moment, that one check, that one ground ball, that one save, all of those things throughout the course of the game could create a huge separation for your team throughout it. And it goes back to taking pride in what you do as a player and owning your position and owning that opportunity to do well in the X. So we got a quick second here. If anyone has questions, guys, feel free to throw them in there. If anyone wants to add anything, we're going to roll right into defensive. Coach, you think I should stop this? Yeah, Coach Ewart, come on. Can't hear you, Johnny.
Can't hear you. You're muted.
Your audio's bad. Are those AirPods? That's what you get for being cool.
Supposed to be able to figure out technology. You're one of the young guys. Oh, my goodness.
You good, Coach Ewart? You got anything there?
He gone.
All right.
There you go.
There we go.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead, Coach.
First one for Nick. So when you're talking about when there is like a long tie-up, obviously you see these a lot, like in the college game. Would you prefer to pin if you're the wing guy, are you trying to pin in the guy next to you, or are you trying to box out more?
So a couple of years ago with the machine, we had like a face-off coach kind of, teach us. We picked the shoulder of the face-off guy. And also part of our scouting was we also played off of where that guy would want to go to a lot. So what our coach did was throughout the week, he would put together some stats of where that guy would exit a lot. And then we tried to pick those spots. We usually try to play just the shoulder of the face-off guy and hold our ground there. And then whatever side the other player picks, we just know that we want to move in a little bit. I like to be either behind or next to, because if I do get pinned in, chances of that ball staying in that 5-yard box when that face-off starts is slim to none. So I prefer to be on the backside driving a guy in or holding a spot on the opponent's shoulder. A lot of what I started doing recently is really focusing on the other team's face-off guy and watching them more than watching my own guy, because if my own guy gets it, I know I can just easily box out and he's going to just get that ground ball because he knows where it's going. If I'm watching the other guy, I can get to him and come down with a check or get in his way to make it a scrum or intercept the ball.
Yeah, and then I guess the only other thing I had was from one of the first clips where Nardella won the faceoff and ended up going on the fast break and scored. More for faceoff guys is you should know like what kind of break your attackmen are running, so you can anticipate where guys are sliding from and where your outlets are going to be. So in that particular clip, they were in a V break, so you saw Nardella went directly right down the middle. And no one could really slide to him, and that allowed him to run right to the top of the crease and shoot. But for most of you younger guys, you'll probably be running an L break, so your outlet will probably be to your left if it's an attackman in that situation.
Great. Coach, do you want to just roll right into D, or you want me to stop it and then restart here? I'm not sure.
See if you can stop it. See if you can stop it, and let's load it up.
All right.
Do we stay in the same chat, or should it be going to should I go
Same
back
chat.
to the email to a different